Good morning students, welcome to the class. In the last class we have completed up to the earth path around the sun. In which path earth is moving around the sun? Yes, elliptical path. So this is elliptical path which is not exactly a round or circle. It represents oval shape. Yes. Today's topic is revolution of the earth around the sun and seasons. Yes, there is a connection between the revolution of the earth around the sun and changing of the seasons. By the way, how many seasons we have? Yes, we have 4 seasons. Those are summer, winter, spring and autumn. So, have you ever observed the changing of the seasons? Yes, sometimes you may observe that. One season after another season. So, recently we completed the summer season. Now we enter into rainy season. After this, winter. Again summer. So, the seasons are changing, keep on changing throughout the year. Means in the 365 days we are experiencing the changing of the seasons. Right? Then what is the reason of this changing? Who are changing the seasons? So anybody have the remote control to change the seasons? Like we are changing the channels in the TV. Yes, nobody have no remotes. This is all happen because of the earth's revolution around the sun. Yes, before going into this topic, I would like to recollect the topic of important parallels on the globe. So, did you remember the topic of the second lesson? So, what are the important parallels on the globe other than the equator? So, in the northern hemisphere of the earth, we have two important latitudes, Tropic of Cancer and Arctic Circle. Tropic of Cancer 23.5 N, Arctic Circle 66.5 N. In the southern hemisphere, down of the equator, we have two more important latitudes. Tropic of Capricorn 23.5 S and Antarctic Circle 66.5 S. Right? You all aware of these important latitudes. Yes. Then, now, just recollect the previous class of this chapter. What we learnt in the previous class? Earth axis is inclined. So, earth axis is not straight. It inclined towards the right side. Isn't it? Yes. And we know that earth is rotating on its axis. Means the earth shape is not exactly straight. It inclined towards the right side. Okay. So towards your right hand side the earth inclined. And in this position only earth remains permanently. Earth will not change its position from 66.5 to 90 degrees. So in this inclination position, we can observe the important latitudes on the globe. So, this is the original position of the earth in the space. In the universe, earth is in this position. In this position only, it is revolving around the sun. Okay? It is not in the straight position. This position only, it is revolving around the sun. Right. Now, we have to learn about the different seasons in northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. So, the seasons are different in the both hemispheres. For example, if summer season is there in the northern hemisphere, winter season will be there in the southern hemisphere. Or If winter season is there in the northern hemisphere, summer season will be there in the southern hemisphere. So opposite seasons will run in the two hemispheres, northern and southern. So now we will look into that, why the seasons are different in northern and southern hemisphere. Yes, if you look at this diagram carefully, you just follow the dates which I am telling. Keep on watch that date and the position of the earth at that date. Okay. We will start with the June 21st. If you observe, on June 21st, northern hemisphere slanted towards the sun. So, Tropic of Cancer will get much of the sunlight on June 21st. So, the area of the northern hemisphere, Tropic of Cancer, Arctic Circle and North Pole. So, these areas will get much of the sun's heat. So, this is the summer in northern hemisphere. Why? Because on that date or at that time of that period, the northern hemisphere of the earth is slanted towards the sun. That's why this is the summer in northern hemisphere. Clear? Yes. This position of the earth towards the sun, where the northern hemisphere is getting much of the sun's heat, is called summer solstice. So, the name which we have given to the position of the earth when the sun's heat is much in the northern hemisphere is called summer solstice. Yes. If the summer is there in the northern hemisphere, which season will be there in the southern hemisphere? Yes, it is winter season. Right? Yes. There is one more important date which represents the summer in southern hemisphere. We will look into that also. Yes. The date of December 22. December 22 represents that, or on the date of December 22, the southern hemisphere is exposed to the sun. And you can observe in this image that most part of the southern hemisphere is facing towards the sun. So at this time, the sun rays are directly fall on Tropic of Capricorn. The sun rays are directly fall on Tropic of Capricorn. So, Tropic of Capricorn and Antarctic Circle hemisphere will receive much heat in this season. That period of the time will indicate the summer in the southern hemisphere. So, this season and when northern hemisphere is experiencing which season? Obviously, it is winter in northern hemisphere. Why? Because it is opposite seasons we are experiencing, right? So, when it is summer season in the southern hemisphere, it is winter season in northern hemisphere. This position of the earth where southern hemisphere is experiencing sun's heat, this position is called winter solstice. So, when northern hemisphere is experiencing sun's rays or summer, we call it as summer solstice. And when northern hemisphere is experiencing winter or southern hemisphere is experiencing the summer, that position of the earth is called as winter solstice. In the Australia, Christmas celebrations are in the month of December, that is the summer to them, where we are experiencing the winter. Why? Because India lies in northern hemisphere, Australia lies in southern hemisphere. That's why we have the contrast seasons. So, remember students, it is very simple topic if you pay attention. If you are not at all paying attention means it is very confusing topic. So, all we need is your attention. So, focus on the topic and listen the class and again. Then you can understand the topic very quickly. Yes, when in the period of June 21, at the time of June 21, Northern Hemisphere experience summer, which is called as summer solstice. At the time of December 22, when Southern Hemisphere is experiencing the summer, it is called winter solstice. So the date, month, and which hemisphere is getting the heat and the name of the earth position is important. Okay. June 21st, Northern Hemisphere, summer solstice. December 22nd, Southern Hemisphere, summer, winter solstice. Okay. Yes. There are two more important dates. Those are March 21st and September 23rd. Yes, what is the specialty of these two dates? On these two dates, neither of the poles experience the sun rays. Either the North Pole or the South Pole did not receive any sun rays. Means the sun rays are directly fall on equator. So on March 21st and September 23rd, in these 2 days, the sun rays will hit the equator. So while the sun rays hit the equator, what will happen? Both northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere will get the same length of day and night on these 2 days. So when the sun rays hit the equator, both northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere will get the same amount of daytime and night time. This happening is called equinox. These 2 days in the year, March 21st and September 23, are called as equinox. Why? Because on these days, sun rays directly fall on equator. Because of that, day and night are equal in both southern and northern hemispheres. Because of this reason, we will call March 21st and September 23rd are equinox. Yes, this is all about this lesson. So this lesson is very interesting if you really have the interest to learn the things from geography. And after completion of every lesson, I am sending the textbook pages by underlining them or by highlighting them. You just copy the same in your textbooks. By seeing the image, you have to underline the important lines or points from the lesson.